Welcome everyone to the second episode of our amazing podcast with me, Milan Ho-Ahing, and Jeba Nikovic.
Yeah, it's Barney's enough. We don't
Barney
need
is
to
enough.
use that. It's really hard to pronounce, so
I'm
let's
trying.
just
I'm
go with
trying.
Barney.
Yeah,
Welcome,
man.
guys. What's up? What's up?
So yeah, like you just said, I went out boating for a bit because the weather's been really nice lately, which is kind of a ironic thing since we all have to stay inside, which kind of sucks. But yeah, my girlfriend, her granddad, he had a boat and he no longer needed it, so he gave it to my girlfriend's parents. And it's like a yeah, I don't know, like 6 meter long boat. It's open top and small with like the engine on the outside and stuff. But it's really nice. And we went out through Leeuwarden and a little bit around the side through some other areas. But it was awesome, man. It was really
That's
nice
really
weather,
nice.
full blue sky and full sun, and we brought a friend of mine along with us as well.
Were you the one who actually lead the boat or controlled?
My girlfriend, she did it first for like 1 hour or so, and then I took over. It can be quite
Okay.
exhausting on your arm actually with one of those things, because
Just
it's
steering.
yeah, it's pretty heavy.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, man, it was
Do
really
you
chill.
actually need a license?
It depends on the boat size, I think, and the power of the engine. I think actually for this boat we did need a license officially, but none of us had. But then again, there's not going to be any water police nowadays,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it doesn't
yeah.
really matter that much.
Just to this topic, it comes to my mind that a few years ago, actually, before I started studying in the Netherlands, we actually went to Holland to boating actually
All
with
right,
my family,
awesome.
and we rented like a huge boat for like 12 people, and we just did like a canal
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
boat thing. Yeah, it was pretty awesome. We stopped in the biggest cities.
Oh, you went through different
Just
cities, or
yeah, 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 yeah.
oh,
So
nice.
basically, we just went through the canal, stopped wherever we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
We just jumped out. Looked at the city
Did
and
did you have like your own crew, or like that was taking you with them, or did you have to
no,
do all
no, no, no,
it
no,
yourself?
no. We did ourselves. Yeah,
Nice. That's cool, man. Yeah, the
yeah,
Netherlands is perfect for that kind of stuff, man. There's so many boats
yeah,
here. Same here in the inner city, because in Leeuwarden, you have all these canals going through the city center. There's tons
yeah.
of touring boats that go through it, with all these old people and learning about the city and stuff. And I always
Yeah,
feel like
I
a.
mean,
Hmm?
those canals were a little bit, I mean, not little bit, but
Oh
much
yeah, yeah, yeah,
wider.
definitely.
But it was really a cool experience, even though the size of the boat or the cabins, were like really little,
It doesn't matter. You're
So
having fun,
yeah,
drinking
yeah,
beers daytime in the
you had
sun.
to watch you had to watch out not to bump your head into the ceiling. But it was a cool experience, yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. Anything else been going on in the life of Barney? How's quarantine
Um,
treating you?
yeah, I really enjoying the quarantine. Actually, I can do a lot of things that I couldn't do before. I didn't have
Nice.
time for it.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, I'm just doing lots of self-improvement thing, reading books. Um, so I don't really spend my time watching series, series, which is a good thing for me at least.
Yeah.
But I also spend several hours each day outside.
Nice.
Last week actually I went to play. I don't know if it's called in English. We call it a tango,
Tango.
which is like kind of a football game, two versus two, and there is a
Ah.
net between the teams,
Okay.
and the ball has to stay in the air.
Oh, so basically like volleyball, but with your football feet, actually, sort of.
Yes,
And then
yes,
two versus two, or one
yes.
versus one. Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
it can be one. It can be three versus three as well.
Nice.
Actually, there are like championships, like with this game, as well.
And when it touches the ground on your side, they get a point.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
No, no.
Or-
Basically, the thing is that it can touch
Mhm.
on the ground, but only once.
Mhm.
Or the other rule is that it has to stay in the lines of the
Oh,
of
okay.
the actual like space.
Yeah.
Yeah, and only so if it's two versus two, then you have each team have three touches, but one member can only touch it once.
Ah,
Like
okay, I get
so,
it.
like
Yeah, you
I
have to
touch it,
pass.
then you can touch it and pass it back to me, and then I pass it over.
Man,
But during these three touches, the ball has to stay like in the air.
yeah, okay, I get it. Man, I would completely suck at that. Because I can only shoot, I can only capture the ball. Like I said, previously on FIFA, all I do is just slide and tackle you. So if I would play something like this, I would probably just accidentally kick it on a roof or something.
Yeah, but it was a really good thing to do, especially since that I wasn't even out, not outside, but out of my
Hmm.
house since like like 5 or 6 weeks.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it could be
So
fun to
so
do
it,
that.
it was really nice and fun to.
And you do it with like friends or
Yeah, 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 yeah.
oh,
Yeah, just get
nice.
together with friends. I actually won like 8 beers.
Nice.
So so especially it was nice because of that.
Oh,
So we
nice.
just demolished the enemy.
Nice, 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 nice.
What about you?
Um, yeah, well, completely opposite, really. I've been bored out of my mind. I don't do much self improvement. I like things the way they are. But I've been doing recently the Northern Lions, the esports team. They had a tournament that you organized as well, right? You were in
Yeah.
the. Yeah. I saw your name under a couple of emails and stuff. I was like, ah, that's my boy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I was in the tournament and they did Rocket League, Counter Strike, and League of Legends.
Yes.
And a friend of mine was in the first one on Rocket League. It was so much fun to watch, man, because this was the first time I've done something like a gaming tournament. And my friend, he plays some Rocket League, so he just entered it for shits and giggles, just for fun. And I watched him on my TV while he was playing, and it was just so much fun to just um, cheer for him as my team, because I don't watch football or any other sport, so I'm not really a big fan of, shouting at the TV at your favorite
Yeah.
sports team
Yeah,
and
I get
stuff.
it. I get it.
But when a friend of mine was playing for a prize in a tournament, things completely changed. I was so involved in the match, and I was just booing and cheering every time he scored and stuff. It was really fun to watch.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
only he didn't get through the first round, so the first match he lost and he was out. But it was a lot of fun to watch, and
Yeah.
it was cool to
So
see how the organization handled it as well.
yeah, 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 yeah. So the
And
second day was a CS:GO.
yes, the
How
second day.
did you, as a participant, how did you experience our organization and
Um,
our tournament?
well, it was pretty well organized. The only small problem I had was that because it's a tournament and they wanted the tournament to start at 7, I believe. And you had
Yeah.
to be ready at 7 in the Discord and everything, or else if you're late, you would be disqualified. Which makes sense, obviously, but the problem I personally had a little bit was it wasn't very clear for me where I had to be ready. I was in Discord, but there wasn't much talk to where I had to go and stuff. And because it wasn't very clear for me, I mean, I had an idea where I had to be, but it wasn't that clear. I was kind of a little bit stressing, like, what if I'm in the wrong place and I'll be late and our
Okay.
team is disqualified? You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that was the only
But
thing I
didn't
had.
you
But
see it? But was the problem that you didn't know who you are going to play against?
well, the thing was, the tournament was gonna be. You had to go to tournament to get in the bracket, the website.
Yeah.
But then for Counter Strike, you also had to go to Face It.
Face it.
So
Yeah.
then you go to Face It, but there wasn't any explanation on how Face It works. Like the tournament sort of assumed that you, as a Counter Strike player, know how Face It works, but I
Okay.
didn't. So
Okay.
I had to learn from my friends, and that's why the first round we played, we were matched against people that hadn't installed the Face It anti-cheat. It
But
was
did you actually? Did you?
yeah, yeah, we did, and it
Oh,
was
okay,
everything
that's
was
good.
okay, and it
Yeah.
was in the rules in the email that you had to install it, but they didn't think so. So I think there was a bit of confusion there. But other than that, the game itself went really well. The organization they responded to my questions quite fast, so that was pretty cool. There was a lot of teams participating actually, because when we
Yeah.
signed up, there was like 4 teams, but one day later there was like 12.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
There were a
Yeah.
lot of different teams. Um, it went a bit difficult for us at first because first we were in a match against this team and it went all right, and then the match stopped by an admin. Turns
Yeah.
out,
It was me.
yeah, it was you. So the
Yeah.
match.
So basically, the thing is that the just only one setting fucked up the whole thing, the whole
Hmm.
tournament. I mean, not the whole tournament, but it made us like
The
I don't know, kind
bracket.
of anxious or like we had some little troubles at the beginning because of this one setting that everybody had to download this anti cheat program, and since two team didn't do
Yeah, they
it,
didn't.
like but two different matches, then they couldn't play, so they dropped out and they
Yep.
couldn't rejoin within 5 minutes, and that's why they got disqualified
Yeah.
by the
Okay.
Faceit by the system. And the thing is that because of this, immediately the other team proceeded to the next round.
Yep.
And since we didn't have enough team, there were three teams who actually got advantage and
Yep.
started in the second round, because they didn't have enemy
Yeah.
opponent in the first round. So whoever proceeded without game because their opponent just got disqualified, they started the second round.
Yeah, it was quite confusing for us because
So
we were playing this team and then they disconnected. We were like, okay, well, win for us, we're in the next round. And
yeah,
then the next match immediately began and we were up against the German team that I think eventually won. Then we were up against them as our second match and we played quite alright, but we immediately knew that these guys were already quite next level, really high skilled. So we had some
yeah,
trouble with that. But then that match got cancelled as well because the previous team fixed their problem and they got to play anyway, which was quite cool
yeah,
from the
yeah.
organization, that
Yeah, I
they can
mean,
still
we
play.
yeah we thought that it wouldn't make sense. I mean, in a way that it was our kind of problem that we didn't provide like proper
Hmm.
information, or we didn't make sure that everybody understood it.
Well, I mean, the team that we played against first that you cancelled, it was in the rules that the anti-cheat had to be installed, and they said, oh, it didn't say anywhere that it had to be, but it was in the rules clearly, so it was
Yeah,
their fault. But anyway, the
yeah. We
second
just
match
we
got.
just
Hmm?
we just had to like give them a chance.
Yeah, no problem. It was quite funny for us because we had one match against them first that got cancelled. Then we went to the second match, but that got cancelled as well. And then we played against the first team again. So I was like, well, at least we had a good warming up.
Yeah,
So our
and then
first,
you won, right?
yeah, then we
Nice.
won.
Yeah,
And on Counter Strike Global Offensive, when you play a match, you play 30 rounds, and the team that gets to 16 first wins. So best out of 30 to 16 rounds. So our first match, we actually won 16-4. We completely annihilated them. There was just nothing left of them. In some matches, we even just threw a lot of flashbangs, and 5-on-1, we just knifed them. We started to play around with our food, so to speak, which was quite silly. And we won that, and then we went to the next match, which was the team we were up against after the
yeah,
first match was cancelled. So this
yeah,
was again the same team we played again in the second match, and these were the really, really try hard, high ranked guys. And it was quite cool actually because I've been playing Counter Strike for like what 11 years or something. It was one of the first shooter games I've ever played, so it's really in my genes, in my blood. So this was the first gaming tournament I've played, so it was quite fun to test my own skill for a bit actually. But it was quite obvious that I am way, way, way below what some of these people are. Because we played on this map, and the first half of the match we did quite well actually. We were ahead 8-3, I think. 8 wins, 3 losses. Then the teams reversed or switched around, and we got to the other team, and then we just got completely annihilated. We
yeah,
lost eventually. We lost 16-9. So in the entire second half, we only won one match, and they won every single other match.
yeah. And actually, your match was streamed, right, on Twitch.
Oh yeah, the second. That
Yeah.
actually sucked because they started broadcasting our match only the second half, so people could only see us losing.
No, the thing with no, but the thing was that it actually they started doing it before the second half.
Hmm.
So I actually saw that. I mean, first I didn't know which team you are in,
Bono Mel.
because like we had so much things to do, I
Yeah,
didn't have time to look
obviously.
at it. And then I looked at it and I saw like you are on the team, right? And
Hell yeah.
then you were leading. I was like, yeah, bro, come on. And then you changed,
Yep.
and then you didn't win one round.
There was nothing left of us. It was horrible, man. But it was very obvious that their team was very well organized. You know, they've been practicing. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were doing very well thought out plays. They knew exactly where to throw their smoke grenades and stuff like that. As we were just a bunch of friends that occasionally played together. We were all
Yeah,
pretty good on our own, but we weren't very coordinated. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
with shooting and aiming, we were, pretty close to them, but technical aspect in how we cooperated our strategies and stuff, it just didn't work. But
yeah,
I still think we did quite well because they eventually won the entire tournament. I think, right, the German team.
yeah. They did
Yeah,
actually.
exactly. So we did all right, I guess.
Yeah. So actually, we are also going to do another tournament.
Awesome.
For now, I believe on the 15th, 16th, and 17th. I think. But I have to recheck
Of
it.
May,
But
you mean?
just to give you an information that
You mean
you
next
can you
month
can try
of?
your team again.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely do that, man. I've
Yeah.
actually one day before the tournament started, actually, I asked a friend of mine if he wanted to join the tournament as well with his team. And he was like, "Yeah, man, because he plays a lot of Counter Strike." And first he thought he was going to join my team, but and I told him, "Yo, I already have a team, so you got to make your own team." But he couldn't get enough people ahead of time. So he asked me, are they going to do it again, and is there going to be another tournament? So the most people I've spoken to about the tournament, they already want to know when the next tournament is.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's a really cool thing, that people are excited about these kind of things.
Yeah. All right. Then I will make sure when it is actually, and then I
Definitely,
will
man.
let you know so you can also tell them.
Definitely, let me know. Yeah, because I'll be joining again next time. The only downside is though, that because it's such a broad kind of event, because everyone can join in. There's a massive difference between the skill levels, which is a bit, well, not necessarily frustrating. I get that there's nothing you can really do about it because you want as many teams to join as possible, of course. But they were so good, this German team, that we do have to practice now. We do
Yeah.
have to prepare.
Yeah.
We need our gamer food ready and our energy drinks.
All right. Let's
But
move on to another topic. What do you
it
think
was a lot of fun.
about Donald Trump?
Donald
Just to
Trump,
really
J.
hit the point.
Donald J. Trump, my man. Well, he's absolutely losing his mind. He's well, he technically didn't suggest in what do you call it? Injecting yourself with bleach or with UV sunlight. But he is looking into it, and it's very promising. It could be the best result. It's going to be the best result you've ever seen. It's very promising. He's not a doctor, but he's just losing his mind. It's insane.
I just
I don't
actually reading a book about him.
really.
Yeah, like a biography.
Hmm.
It's really crazy what
Awesome.
what he has done to actually
Oh yeah, man. People
become.
still. I mean, he's crazy, but people still underestimate. He has become the president of the United States.
Yeah,
So he has done something right, It's not just some guy on Netflix. You should watch it. Watch this on Netflix. Previously we talked about you only watch Netflix for educational purposes.
yeah,
So on Netflix, there's actually a documentary series of 5 episodes, I think, about Donald Trump, and I've watched all of them, and it's very
oh,
interesting as well. I think it,
yeah,
it covers about the same stuff that is in your book about how he started with real estate and his tax breaks and
yeah, yeah,
which
yeah. So
people he
it's
had
not
on his team and
he was
stuff.
actually like really well known before he
Yeah.
became a president, and he actually I mean in this book like how he built up his career,
Hmm.
and how he actually started to be on shows, TV and everything,
Yeah.
and he just became like a celebrity, So
Yeah, and
it was,
the
yeah.
documentary they mentioned that the reason why he became such a popular person because he had this TV show called The Apprentice. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you know it.
I think so, yeah.
It's basically this TV show about him being this big boss CEO in this big leather chair in
Yeah,
his
yeah,
awesome
yeah,
office, and he gets all these contestants to be his apprentice, basically, to learn the skill of his trade and stuff. And it's
yeah.
this
And
elimination
the
TV
price is
show.
actually that they can. I mean, the one who wins it, he or she can work for 1 year for him, right?
Yeah, it basically becomes his assistant.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
because this show was such an immense hit and it was extremely popular, the image of Donald Trump in this chair being this big boss CEO already sort of embedded the idea that he could be a president because he's a boss man, he's smart, he's a businessman, he makes his decisions, he yells out, you're fired. He's this strong man, so he could be a president. And I don't blame people for thinking that. And actually, in this documentary, there's also an interview with one of the contestants of The Apprentice, one of the winners actually. And he said that once he won, he just got to sit there in Donald Trump's office and basically reading articles about Donald Trump to Donald Trump. So he basically became his slave,
I'm not surprised.
Well, I still think he's a very interesting man, and I love to learn about those people because they still had extraordinary lives, what they've done and they've accomplished. I mean, he's basically fucking up the entire United States, but he's still done some extraordinary things. And
Yeah.
people tend to forget that, but then again, at the end of the day, he's just an orange man shouting things at the news.
I mean, at least this is your point of view.
Oh yeah, definitely. I respect people that support Trump. I mean, for a while, I didn't really support him, but I understood him in a way that Trump is a businessman. He runs the country like a business, so there's no room for emotion and stuff like that. He just needs to fix the economy. The way he did it wasn't all that well, but I think he could have done it well, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, did you also read or hear the news about Kim Jong-un from North Korea?
I've heard something, but what exactly you thinking?
Well, North Korea is very secretive anyway, so there's a lot of speculation and rumors going around because absolutely nobody knows for sure.
Yeah, of
But
course.
Kim Jong Un came down with an illness and he had an open heart surgery, and
Yes.
now there is like no news whatsoever. So the rumor machine is going full turbo mode. Is he dead? Is he alive? Did he have corona? What happened? What's
Oh
going
shit.
on with Kim Jong Un? So I saw this comment actually. The movie Weekend at Bernie's.
No.
Well, in summary, it's a movie about a couple of friends, I think, and one of them dies, and they basically keep the dead body around them, as a puppet, and they sort of keep him alive between quotation marks to their friends. They sort of put up a show. He's still alive, but he's just passed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So there was this comment, watch North Korea doing Weekend with Kim Jong Un for like a year, pretending he's still alive and stuff.
Yeah.
Just having sitting on like the balcony with his chair, and just put on some sunglasses, he'll look alive.
Yeah, yeah, totally.
So-
Actually, what I've heard about him that when he re-entered to North Korea after like 26 years,
Mhm.
he didn't know the language somehow, and he couldn't even speak, but
Really,
he became the leader still.
supreme leader.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking North Korea. Yeah, man. We'll see what happens. North Korea is a strange land. It's so interesting though, because imagine a country just in complete isolation. Like, North Korea's population is the happiest population of the world, according to North Korea. They're the most well-fed, most educated,
No,
best
but
people.
you know what is the thing with this? If they don't know what's going on the world,
Yeah.
they actually can be happy because for example, they can't miss the internet because
That's
for
true.
them it doesn't exist.
Yeah, they have their own sort of
So,
like intranet,
yeah,
like
for
school.
example, it's the same with for example, right now I'm watching The Last Dance, documentary about Jordan,
Oh,
Michael
nice.
Jordan,
Yeah.
and it's about
Rest in peace.
what do you mean,
No, just
bro?
kidding.
He's not. That is Kobe Bryant, bro.
Well, they all play ball.
Yeah.
No, I'm
So
just kidding.
the thing is that it's about his last year of his career, and in that documentary they were talking about that they were poor, but they didn't know that they were poor, because in that area everybody was like that, so they didn't, they were happy,
Oh yeah,
So,
I get what you mean. Sort of like an ignorance is bliss.
yeah,
Everyone around you is poor, so you're not poor. You're just normal, so to speak.
yeah, yeah.
Some people are hood rich, drug dealers and stuff. But at the end of the day, you're all in the same boat.
It's just perspective, I guess.
Oh, definitely, man. Like, just be happy with what you have. If you find joy and happiness in the small things, life becomes much easier. Like just in if you're biking around the city and you see cute little ducklings, stop, break, enjoy the cute little ducklings, and go on with your day. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It keeps you sane, especially in these times when you're locked up in your house. Enjoy the little things. So
yeah,
yeah, I've
right.
had my first online classes actually a couple of days ago, because my previous module it sort of began in the pre-corona phase and it ended in the middle of corona. So the module wasn't all that straightforward,
I
and
mean, like for everybody, you know.
yeah, definitely, yeah, that's true actually, yeah, for everybody. But it was quite a switch for everybody, of course. But at the end of the module, we had to do some team meetings, and it was quite, it works, but
It's
excuse
not
me.
the same.
Yeah, exactly. Because for me, what I really need in school, and what I have a lot of trouble with, is I need a classroom. I need to go to school. I need to be in a place where I have to do it. You know what I mean? I need to be around people that do the same things. When I'm at home and no one is pushing me, no one is telling me what to do, no one is giving me a deadline, I'm gonna procrastinate until the very, 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 very last moment. So and I get really demotivated and I don't enjoy it as much. So the previous module I had, well, not the previous, but the one before that, we had a lot of work we had to do on our own, not necessarily a lot of work at school, which I wasn't a big fan of, but I made it. And the next module, the one I had previously, there I hoped there would be a lot more hours at school, with the classrooms and lectures and stuff like that. And it
Yeah.
actually was like that, which I enjoyed. I got motivated again, I thought, I could do this. This is another 3 months of this module, that's fine. But then Corona hit and everything changed. So now I'm back at home, talking.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, exactly, doing nothing. For this module, I had a couple of meetings on Teams, and it works, but it's quite frustrating because some people have very bad internet. Some people have very shitty microphones. Some people don't even show up at all for an online meeting. So it's very messy and very chaotic. And I suppose it works. I know school and everyone's doing their best because it's new for everyone. We're all trying to make it work. But for me personally, I'm having a lot of trouble with it to stay motivated because I don't know, yeah, something I have to work on, I guess. So now I've had my first
Yeah.
class,
I
and
mean, I guess you have to see your end goal,
mm,
and work towards that. So
yeah, definitely, it's
yeah, I
just
mean, it's
difficult.
harder for everybody, but the other side of the coin is that now everybody can see that much more things can be done online as well.
Oh yeah,
So for example, if we have a meeting, we're just not going to do that in real life, but via internet, because there are some people who, for example, have to travel to Leeuwarden, like I don't know, teachers or something. But maybe it's more suitable for them if they just join via Teams or something.
yeah, definitely. I believe that there's a lot of positive things that can come out of this, because it forces people to look from a different perspective. It forces them to accept change, basically, because there's no other option.
Yeah.
Which could open some minds for some people. It could open some eyes for some people that they were previously opposed against. That they think this could actually work. So that's a good thing. I definitely see that as well. But for me personally, I much prefer a lecture in a class and sitting around the table with my class and stuff like that. It keeps me much more motivated. It keeps me much more involved with school as well. So I'm gonna have some trouble this year. I hope next year is gonna be normal again, but we'll see. And I mean, the plus side is I can sleep in. I can do whatever I want at home. And
Yeah.
when a meeting is done, it's done. You don't have to bike home again from school and stuff like that. So I suppose that's kind of chill.
Yeah. But also it comes down to one thing, that how we are going to, read, how we going to like continue when everything is over.
Oh yeah.
Because now the earth is so much cleaner, the air and everything. But yeah, I mean, I guess everything going to continue. Most of the things going to continue as it was before.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
because
people.
still companies. I mean, in these situations, companies even need money more. Even they need it so much more than even before.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they're
We'll
gonna
see,
change a
man.
lot.
There's going to be a recession coming. There's going to be an economical recession. People are going to be broke for a long time. So it's difficult times coming up. And the thing with with nature and environment, yeah, it's recovering, and dolphins are returning to Venice. Oh my gosh! But all it took was economical suicide. So it's it's
It's
quite a big.
worth it. I don't know.
It's worth
It
it.
doesn't matter. Yeah,
The
go Dolphins.
dolphins. Go Dolphins, yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we'll survive. I think it's
yeah. But
gonna
it's
be
it's a
alright.
it's a pity for us that we are just about to start our life,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's just this recession started
Yep.
or
It's.
happened.
I mean, then again, it's not like I could ever afford a house in the first place. So for me, nothing changed.
Yeah, but for example, if you go out after university, it can affect your salary.
Oh yeah, it's gonna affect everything, dude.
So
But then
yeah,
again, I also try to tend to look at this as an opportunity, in a way that. Okay, so for example, this is like one of the biggest changes that we've had in so many years. The quarantine and the economical recession and stuff. You could also look at this as an opportunity, in a way that a lot of companies and small owned businesses are going bankrupt. They just don't have a chance anymore, which is sad. It's horrible for those entrepreneurs and their businesses. But if you look at society, and maybe there's going to be a change in how people think and how people consume. People are now only sort of getting the essentials. They're no longer consumers buying what they want, but more or less buying what they need, because they don't have as much money. If you look at it as a chance, as an option. If you want to start something for yourself now, it could also be a good time, because a lot of companies going bankrupt. People are changing their minds about things. Maybe you could start a business in line with that way of thought, if you know what I mean. Sort of
yeah,
catch what I'm
yeah.
going for here. So that's what I've been thinking about as well. If you, it could be an opportunity for a lot of people as well, because there's just a big change, and if you want to do something different, I guess now is the time. You know?
Definitely. I mean, the time is always there. It just depends on our ambition. But
True, but timing is very important.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. Have you ever been on King's Day in the Netherlands? Have you ever experienced it?
Yes, I actually did once last year, when I was working at a festival,
Oh,
at a King's
nice.
Day festival in Drenthe. I think it
Oh
was
yeah,
in Drenthe. That is next to Germany, right?
bro.
You don't know.
Topography, it's like my worst.
Okay,
I could get lost in the
whatever.
Netherlands, bro.
It was next to the German border,
Hmm.
but this festival was actually in five different cities. In Rotterdam, Amsterdam,
Oh yeah,
Groningen, and in
probably something
Drenthe.
like King's Day outdoor or something.
Yeah, yeah, it was actually like a proper festival.
Yeah,
So actually, I worked there and
nice.
experienced how the Dutchies like
But you
this.
haven't been inside like the city on King's Day, only on the festival, or?
No, I don't think so. No,
Okay,
no.
because in the city that's like something completely different, bro. Like festivals are festivals, and I get it. It's awesome. The festivals are the main events on King's Day. But when you go into cities, it's amazing, because it's just this sea of orange. Everyone's
Yeah,
orange. All the markets are orange. There's orange flags. Orange drinks, orange balloons. Everything is orange, and everyone can open their own market stall. So there's tons of people just selling their crap on the streets and stuff. No one actually, not a lot of people buy it, but it's still fun to walk around and get some food and enjoy the weather. It's a really nice holiday here in the Netherlands. A lot of people are always very hyped about it, because it's one of the excuses you get, to get drunk at 1 in the afternoon and just go out in the city and mess about with your friends. And
yeah,
it's
yeah,
a shame that King's Day is now in the Corona times, but people are
yeah,
already like, what are you gonna do on King's Day now?
yeah. But talking about this, actually, we had a collaboration with the actual NHS and then Instagram
Nice.
account or social media, and we provided them with one of our main pillars of content, the workout,
Oh yeah,
and he was actually made a workout for them that they
nice.
published on Monday. So yeah,
Oh
it
yeah.
was a nice thing to do with them. So we actually get a little bit of exposure, more
Yeah,
people
definitely.
got to know us.
So yeah, man, on King's Day, I basically just got, well, not drunk, but tipsy.
Just
enjoyable tipsy.
celebrating our king, right?
Exactly, celebrating on my own, toasting to the king, King Willem, our great royal highness. I'm a big fan of the king. I love him. He should grow. Actually, did you know? Fun fact. That was pretty funny, actually. King Willem Alexander. He
Yes.
used to have a clean-shaven face. And then for a while, it went quite viral that people photoshopped beards on his face, and they were like, "Well, the king has to grow a beard. It looks amazing on him. He has to grow a beard." And for a while, that went quite viral. And then, like, I think 3 or 4 months later, the king just appeared and he had a beard on his face, and everyone was like, "Ah, victory! we, we, we did it!" And it actually looks quite good on him. There's obviously people like, "Oh no, it's horrible, shave it off," but I'm one of the people that like it.
And
It
which was better, the Photoshop picture or the real picture?
I'm gonna say the Photoshop picture because people underestimate how difficult it could be to grow a proper beard, but it still looks very good on him. Yeah.
But I really like that. Like, not that, I mean, he's kind flexible, but I like actually like he catches the joke or something.
Yeah,
So
man. I think King Willem, he's very
modern,
normal. Yeah,
modern.
modern, normal, open to things. I like him. But that aside, so King's Day, yeah, it was quite fun on my own. Just enjoyed myself. It's a shame though that a lot of events have been cancelled. In the entire festival season has been cancelled. For example, I was going to go to Welcome to the Village. I don't know if you know that festival. It's in Leeuwarden.
Bro, I actually know, of course, because we are going to make a marketing plan for them actually.
Oh, I heard that from Cyril. I talked to him
Yeah,
about it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
He told me you had them as a customer, and I talked to him about it for a bit. That's awesome, man. That's
yeah.
really
That's
cool. Because I'm a huge fan of Welcome to the Village. I've actually been there 3 times now, I guess.
all right, all right. Maybe we can talk about it next episode.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I'll give you some tips because I'm a customer and I know what I want.
Nice.
Nah, but the first time I was there was actually security. I was doing security, still event security was one of my jobs,
Okay.
and I was at Welcome to the Village. I worked there for 24 hours and 2 days for the weekend. And it was amazing, man. I was just standing there at the entrance and sort of patrolling through the grounds and stuff. And everyone was so nice and everyone was so kind. And the weather was awesome. And just all the guests that came there, there was this sort of a general vibe that was very welcoming, very open. And everyone was just really friendly. And I enjoyed it so much. I knew immediately, like, I gotta go here next year as a guest and not as a worker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the next year, I didn't actually buy tickets because they were quite expensive and I couldn't afford them at the time. But there was a sort of a small contest of Suksavat, the local sort of online blog newspaper of Leeuwarden. And they had sort of this contest that they were giving away 2 evening tickets for a Saturday, and you just had to tell them why. So in my story, I told them that I was a security guard previously, and I really wanted to go there. And I just explained all this stuff to them, right? And I actually won. So I got the two.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. I got the 2 evening tickets, and I went with my ex-girlfriend. Then we went to the event, and I had a lot of fun. And I was completely sold as a um, customer, if you know what I mean. And I had to go next year, definitely. So previous year, I went with my current girlfriend, and we went for the entire weekend for 3 days, and it was just amazing, man. It was so much fun, and that's why I'm quite sad that it's cancelled this year. But makes me save some extra money for next year, so I can get
Yeah,
more
cool,
food,
cool,
more
cool.
drinks.
But it's good to hear that you have such a good feedback about it.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, and we're gonna try to make it even better.
Definitely, bro. I'll give you some feedback about the festival. I'll tell you what I've been looking for.
All right, great, great.
But yeah, man. With that being said, we've been talking for quite a while now, and got some cool topics, man. I like Trump. I love politics. I love festivals. I love King's Day. We're getting there.
Yeah, everything what we like.
So what I actually reminded, what I just thought about is in the previous podcast, I said that this podcast we were going to talk about the 24-hour lockup that we did, and again we didn't talk about it, and we're at the end of the podcast. So we owe people in the next episode. I promise. I pinky promise. I swear. We're gonna talk about the lockup, which was still awesome and it's a great story. But again, we failed. I promised in the previous podcast that we're gonna talk about it now, but until next time, I guess. Again.
Yeah, bye bye. See you guys.
See you guys next time.